Welcome to the Solemn Vanguard channel. Today I wanted to discuss something really odd I've been seeing. I seem to get snarky remarks about running Sebreeze in my deck profiles. People start laughing and going, Sebreeze is dead because of the new rules. Replace it, herder. The first point we should make here is that these new rules aren't even active yet. It hasn't even been confirmed when they will be active in English. They will activate in Japan in May, around the start of the new format basically, and for English, no date is available just yet. So you can laugh at Sebreeze all you want, but the new stride rules are not a thing yet. All the deck profiles I do assume a post-GBT14 meta, because that's where these decks will be used in tournaments and where they will be playable at all. If I were making a deck profile for the premium format, I wouldn't do it before seeing actual new cards. So all those rules these people are being snarky about literally aren't a thing yet. I know the memes must have been hilarious, haha, Sebreeze is dead, but it's just wrong. We don't know when exactly they'll take effect, but let me say this one last time, they are not a thing right now. At your Springfest regionals, if you try to use the new once per turn or stride rules, you will more than likely be laughed at and corrected. Now that that has been made clear, here's an extra point to make. Is Sebreeze even redundant with the new stride rule? So even though that rule literally doesn't exist yet, let's just say for the sake of the argument, the rule is in effect right now. The rule says if you start your turn on grade 3, or your opponent is at grade 3, you can stride. Really understand this. You need to start your turn on 3. You can't just ride to 3 and stride. You need to be on 3 before you even draw, so you need to have rode last turn unless your opponent is on 3 already. This basically means that whoever rides grade 3 first is still fucked, unless you're playing against someone who grade stalls at 1 or something. Take this situation. Player A is playing against player B. Both players are at grade 2, it's now player A's turn. He rides to 3, but since he just rode and player B is still at 2, he cannot stride. See, the rules state you need to be at 3 at the start of your turn, so player A riding just now means nothing. He still can't stride. He passes turn to player B. Since player B now rides to 3 and his opponent is at 3, he can now stride because both players are at 3. No problem. Now, what if player A doesn't ride up? So let's create the same situation, both players are at 2, it's player A's turn. He thinks, haha, Sebreeze is meaningless now with the new rule, I just won't ride up. Remember, even if he rode grade 3, he couldn't stride because player B is at 2. So player A grade stalls and stays at 2. Passes turn and it's now player B's turn. Player B rides to grade 3. Because of the new rule, he wouldn't be able to stride because he just rode grade 3 and the opponent isn't at 3. Joke's on you, since player A skipped his ride, player B can still Sebreeze because Sebreeze's skill allows you to. So sure, you may say, oh, with the new rules, the first 2 rides can stride regardless of your opponent's grade next turn, and that's the key, the next turn part. Sure, you could stride next turn regardless of their grade 3, but you forgot the second you proudly ride grade 3, thinking you can stride next turn regardless, your opponent can simply ride to grade 3 himself. You're then both at grade 3 and he can still stride before you that way. This essentially means that the grade 2 game will still be a thing. Generally, whoever rides to 3 first will not get first stride unless your opponent gets grade stuck. Both players will still need to re-ride on 2 to not activate Sebreeze. Both players will still try to not give counterblast so Sebreeze can't be used. Nothing really changes. The only thing this rule changes is that 7Cs can't just stick on grade 1 anymore, since you can now simply ride up and get your stride even if they're at 1. So what's the conclusion? The Sebreeze memes may have been funny, but they're wrong. Winning the grade 2 game will generally still give you the first stride. Sebreeze is still a key part, both as a threat and as a means of stopping grade stall. So whilst the rule may not be in effect yet, and so the snarky comments are dead wrong just because of that, even if the rule was active, Sebreeze still has its use. That's all for today. Hope this was informative. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to the Solemn Vanguard channel and click the bell button to stay up to date. Pick up your zero damage gaming playmats at the link in the description. Use the code LAUNCH to get 10% off your first order. And I will see you soon. Ciao.